Okay, it's now the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how you can pursue a high quality and effective marketing strategy without spending lots of money. Just a few housekeeping matters before we get started. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available to you shortly after the presentation, so there's no need to take notes unless you'd like to do so. And in the event that you're having any issues with the audio or visual components of this webinar, please just use the raised hand feature in the GoToWebinar control panel, or you can type us a message and we'll try to get that resolved for you as quickly as possible. So my name is Drew Mancini and I am the Digital Marketing Manager here at Lawlytics. I have a background as a marketing consultant for solos and small law firms in digital marketing practices, as well as branding. And now I continue to enjoy helping to make marketing more accessible and enjoyable for attorneys by really just helping to create those resources that work to demystify successful marketing practices. So if you are a solo attorney or a small law firm, it's pretty likely that you don't have an overly grand budget allocated to marketing expenses. And in the past, traditional marketing methods like taking out an ad in the local newspaper or sponsoring the local high school's baseball team were perfectly effective tactics for increasing your local visibility. However, in today's competitive legal landscape, having a robust online presence is what's going to be essential for reaching more potential clients and growing your business. And of course, with limited resources, it can be hard to know where you should be focusing your efforts and your dollar in order to get the best return on your investment. So today we'll be addressing these challenges head on, and we'll also discuss some actionable strategies that won't strain your budget. So let's start first with how you can be strategic with your firm's brand personality. In our example of traditional marketing tactics that worked back in the day, I mentioned things like printed ads or sponsoring a high school baseball team. And while it's great to just get your name out there in pretty much any way possible, both of these things still require an applied element of brand personality in order for them to actually be effective. And what this really means for a law firm is the ability for potential clients, past clients, and your professional network to very quickly recall who you are and who you serve. And without them being able to pinpoint that right away, and without them being able to also remember that months from when they've interacted with you or worked with you, you could be causing yourself to be losing out on business pretty consistently. So let's talk about brand personality and what you need to be doing to achieve this in a very low cost way. So if you are getting started creating a brand personality, or if you'd just like to check if you're on the right track with your current brand personality, I encourage you to start with a couple questions for yourself. One, why did you even become a lawyer? And two, what are your goals for your clients? These two questions are going to help you outline your values when building your brand personality, while also guiding you to best understand the values of your ideal client to ultimately create a cohesive messaging around this. Both of these perspectives need to be understood the best way that they can be so that you're considering your ideal clients' preferences, behaviors, and expectations when you're making your marketing decisions. Now, to convey this digitally, a great place to start is with your law firm's website. Chances are that you already have a law firm website, and if you don't, you likely plan on getting one. So really, when it comes down to it, this is a cost that's probably already fixed into your overall budget and business expenses. And that being said, optimizing this to achieve your desired brand personality can be at no additional cost to you. And again, the goal of your brand personality and ultimately your website should be to help potential clients in understanding who you are and how you help them with their legal issue, or how you can help them with their legal issue. So how your website works to do this, aside from the actual written content that's on the pages, is by strategically choosing colors, font, layout, and images. So for example, personal injury lawyers tend to make design decisions that are bold and strong to center their messaging around how they are aggressive when fighting with their clients, for their clients. This may include a more traditional bold color scheme such as blue and white or red and black that will evoke emotions of power and competency. And then in another example, a family law attorney may want to associate their brand personality with different emotions such as security and trustworthiness. And then to achieve this, they might be using more inviting colors such as greens and blues, or they might display specific images that best represent their goals for their clients. And of course, a big element of a potential client's impression of your website is going to be your firm's logo, which can also play a big role in other marketing avenues in achieving your desired brand personality. And this actually brings me to my last point, which is common mistakes to avoid. When I was working as a marketing consultant for attorneys before joining Lawytics, I worked with a lot of attorneys who were just starting out on their own. So a lot of their initial decision making was this brand planning work. And in doing this, I worked with several clients to help them develop a logo for their new firm. And a lot of the time, I would see it go, honestly, one of two ways. One, they were extremely inspired by another successful firm and essentially just wanted to emulate them to a T, which is not very helpful for helping them stand out. Or two, they had an extremely niche and specific idea for their logo that wouldn't be all that great for helping their brand resonate with a potential client in a more immediate sense. So the problem with the first type of person and logo was that they hadn't really considered their values and their values of their ideal client. They just saw the success of another firm and thought they could copy and paste the formula. And then the problem with the second type of person was that they had extensively considered their values, but maybe just weren't as considerate of their ideal client's values. So what the takeaway is that when it comes to making marketing decisions that impact your brand personality, it's hard to not look to those around you for design cues, of course, but it will not serve your firm long term to make design decisions based on trends rather than truth. In addition, it's going to serve you best to avoid design decisions that don't fit with your industry or practice areas, and nailing a brand personality that feels true to yourself and your firm is going to ultimately be the best use of your time in that long term. So as we've mentioned in previous slides, your website is going to be your #1 digital marketing tool that is likely something that's already been considered as a business expense for you due to how necessary it is to have in this modern age of practicing law. And that being said, let's review some key elements that your website really needs in order to be most effective in driving business for your firm without increasing that dollar amount that you're paying in your marketing budget. So in addition to brand personality elements that we discussed before, like those colors and fonts and the logo, images, things like that, your website needs to have a handful more of elements in order to be an extremely effective yet extremely low cost marketing asset for your business. And that first element is going to be easy navigation. This should cost you absolutely nothing, and it's super easy to achieve as well. So basically, good website navigation is easy to use and it follows an intuitive information architecture. We've often recommended the 3-click test, which means that a visitor can get to their desired page in 3 clicks or less. And this is recommended because it's very likely that if a potential client is struggling to get to the page that they want to get to, or it's just taking them a long time, there's a very, very high likelihood that they're just going to abandon your website and find the answer elsewhere. To follow an intuitive information architecture, this really just means that your website content needs to be organized effectively by creating pillars of content, such as your practice area pages, to establish the foundation for other subtopics, which are known as topic clusters, to fall underneath those pillar topics. So for example, a pillar page can cover a broad overview of the practice area. So in a family law example, the page may cover topics like an overview of the family law practice, services that you provide, and the circumstances that would prompt the need for a family law attorney. The next thing that your website needs is really straightforward, but your website really has to load quickly in order to function as a viable marketing tool. If you're curious to see how your website is currently performing, I encourage you to use any of the free page load speed tester tools that you can find online. Google provides one for free, for example, and you can use those to test your load speeds. If you find that your pages aren't shaping up, you need to evaluate if it's maybe the architecture of your website, or if you're trying to use things that are slowing it down. So that could be too many images or too much video on a single page, or maybe the use of pop-ups or anything that's overly fancy, or maybe some other issues. Number 3, your website needs optimized contact forms. So beyond their basic intention to help potential clients get in touch with you, an optimized web form can keep you more organized. It can deliver invaluable data points about your leads, and it can help you drive more business to your practice. And to set up your contact forms for success, you need a clear directive to start. Your contact forms should provide an obvious reason as to why the potential client should complete it. And in addition, your forms should provide a timeline for when the potential client can expect to hear from you. And in doing so, communicate how their information will be used and understand the best type of data to capture for the form's purpose. So of course, be sure that you have the internal infrastructure to have a system for following up with contact form submissions on your website, because that's also going to be one of the most important elements of having an effective contact form on your site. Next, your website needs legal specific pages. So just to briefly review the minimum you need an about the firm page, practice area pages, an attorney bio, case results, client testimonials, and a blog. And if you find that you don't currently have one or some of these pages, you don't at all need to panic. Your website can still be a very useful marketing tool for you, but I just recommend setting a goal for yourself to build toward having all of those pages so that your website can be performing for you at its absolute best and saving you money while making you money in the long run. And one of the most important things for your website's effectiveness is going to be your site's written content. Written content is going to be what brings potential clients to your website, what keeps them there, and then what is going to ultimately convert them. So you need to be sure that every web page is working to sufficiently answer the questions of your potential clients, and that you are offering a positive user experience, and that the page is actually working to achieve its purpose. And then finally, your page formatting of your website is not only going to aid in the aesthetic appeal of your website, but it's going to help with the user friendliness and the discoverability on search engines such as Google. And what this really means is that your pages aren't just scatterbrained, and you're intentional with the formatting of them by having clear titles, having subtitles, and just overall making it make sense visually. And finally, in this last part of today's webinar, I want to just go over what some low-cost marketing tools in your toolbox are going to look like so that you can achieve an effective marketing strategy for your law firm at that lowest possible cost. So one of the absolute best ways that you're going to grow your business as an attorney is through your referral network. If you become effective at networking, you can contribute to a large portion of your new business at a very low cost. And building a solid, reliable referral network requires a series of consistent but small efforts that are built over time. So there are a few things that you can be doing if you are someone who's building your referral network or you have not yet achieved an effective referral network. So one, you can always start by asking for a referral. Ask fellow lawyers, friends, clients, and former clients to refer you to potential clients. This can be via email, text, social media, letter, or phone call, and it's dependent on your current relationship with that person, what kind of avenue that you go down to ask for a referral. But regardless of how you ask, remember to ask often to help remind that person to think of you whenever the occasion arises. Number 2, you're going to be sure to thank your referrals. So don't delay sending a thank you when you get a referral. Even if that person doesn't retain you, you want to still thank the referral source. This is going to leave such a lasting impression on your referral source that could lead to more referrals in the future. 3, When it comes to referrals, you're going to want to reciprocate whenever possible. A successful referral network is going to be a two-way street always. So you want to send business back to the referral source and be careful to never accept additional work from a referral client that a referral source might want to take. That's also an important one. No additional business is going to be worth tainting your reputation and burning that bridge. And then lastly, you want to make it easy for you to receive referrals in the first place. So that means you need to have a mobile-friendly website with an easy-to-remember address. And you also want to make your phone number and your contact form prominent on that website. You can do that by having contact forms on most or every page. And then for your phone number, you can make it easy for people to access it by having a click-to-call phone number on the headers and footers of your website. And finally, you'll grow your network faster if you're great about returning calls and emails promptly. This seems super obvious, but it's just something that is sometimes overlooked. And more often than not, a referral source will refer a potential client to more than one attorney. So you want to make sure that you're the attorney that is available and ready to receive the referral first and win that client. And in order to do so, you need to, of course, have an efficient system for taking and returning calls and responding to emails. So the next low-cost marketing for lawyers tool is public speaking. Public speaking can boost your reputation, credibility, and it can make for an excellent marketing tool for your firm. Delivering engaging presentations on hot topics that are central to your practice can help you build your brand, but also get new prospects. And additionally, recorded public speaking events can be shared online to multiply the reach of your talk and establish you as an expert in your field. And if you are someone who hasn't really looked into something like this before, if you want to get started booking speaking engagements and to add more to your calendar, you want to think locally, nationally, and then just generally outside of the box. And more times than not, these events can be very low cost or even free to participate in. Your practice areas will help to influence the type of events that you're pursuing and the audience that you're seeking. So just for an example, a divorce attorney can speak to a wide variety of audiences in multiple settings, while an attorney who caters to a more specific trade will have to find more things like trade events to speak at. The next tool in your low-cost marketing toolbox is social media. Social media can help you in a few different ways. For one, it can help you achieve brand personality outside of your website. It can help you to stay relevant to your referral network and your past clients, but it can also help you attract new clients. One of the most important things to keep in mind about social media is that you need to be putting your time into the right social media channels that make sense for your clientele and then that makes sense for your industry. So for lawyers, what we recommend is LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, which is now X. And oftentimes, I find that lawyers are extremely busy and they only have time for limited social media efforts. So I really just recommend those three channels as the pool of options to choose from, as they're the most proven to get attorneys the results that they're looking for. I also want to just say at this time that you can really see success on social media without having to sink a ton of money or time into it. I would even say just posting once a week and engaging with your feed for just 5 minutes a day can get you honestly where you need to go. It's really just about consistency when it comes to social media, but also knowing the right types of posts to create. And speaking of the right types of posts, there's going to be 6 types of posts that best serve your goals as an attorney. And I'm going to paste the link to a blog post that goes into these posts in much more detail for you in the chat. But to review them briefly, you want to be posting things like your story, which is kind of like why you became an attorney and why you're motivated to serve your clients. You want to post things like updates or news, any sort of positive case results that you've received, client testimonials, firm highlights or behind the scenes of the office, and then also any sort of community engagement that you're involved in. So let me go ahead and post this blog in our chat. And that just goes over what I was just talking about in a lot more detail, and also gives you some examples of posts. The next and very important tool to have in your marketing toolbox is Google Business Profile. A Google Business Profile listing is totally free, and it's going to list you directly on Google Search and Google Maps. And when it is fully optimized, regularly updated, and 100% accurate, it can really help your website's visibility on search in honestly such a major way. Your business listing can help drive business to your firm in more ways than one as well. So for example, potential clients can reach out via phone or chat directly from the listing. They can browse your client reviews, they can interact with your Q&A section, or they can view photos of the office or staff that you've shared. And most importantly, potential clients have an easy way to go directly to your firm's website to learn more and get in touch. So this one listing is giving you so many more touch points on Google than just having your website listed in a Google listing. So if you don't have a Google Business Profile, or if you are not sure how it can be optimized, one, I'd highly recommend setting yourself up with one, but then I'd also like to note that Lawlytics offers free Google Business Profile setup assistance for our members. And if that's something you'd like help with, just let us know and we can help you with that. I will also link a guide to Google Business Profile in our chat. This is going to have a helpful checklist for you to make sure that you have everything that you need optimized, but then it's going to have some other little tips on how you can get the most out of your Google Business Profile. So it's just a little helpful resource for you. And then finally, high quality content marketing is always going to be your best, low cost, long-term marketing solution for your business. Not only does it serve to educate your potential clients about your services and their legal issues, but it plays a direct role in connecting your website with more relevant and local searches. Plus, effective content marketing is possible to achieve even on the tightest budget. I'm talking $0 budget. So in order to create content that's going to be this all-powerful driver of traffic to your website, you first need to have a very good understanding of how Google works to bring people to your website. So the way in which Google determines what results to return to any given search is highly rational. It's not a mystery, and everyone can figure it out. When a potential client conducts a search, Google sorts through all of the available pages and it tries to return the best and most useful information related to that search. What this means is that your website content should ultimately reflect and complement what potential clients are searching for on Google. The second part of this is understanding the search behavior of your potential clients. So for more modern clients, they're going to be conducting some degree of independent research on their legal matter before they even decide to call you. This is a super high likelihood, and it's just something that you need to be aware of because your website needs to be supporting that. So your website needs to be answering their questions, but also convincing them that it's in their best interest to call you. When your potential clients are conducting this research, they're doing a couple of things. They are, one, asking complex questions of Google, meaning that they're not just typing keywords like personal injury lawyer near me, but they're asking complete questions in the search bar, like what do I do after I get a DUI? And then number two, they're searching for local options because even if they are not consciously searching for local options, Google is returning search results that are relevant to both their answer and their current location because Google is tracking everyone's location. So it's trying to give them answers that are not only relevant to what they have asked, but also relevant to where they are. Both of those things should greatly influence the way you write your website content. The closer that your website content can get to matching the searches of your ideal client, the more often your website will appear as a search result for those relevant and local search queries. The more often your website is appearing in the search results of your ideal client, the more website traffic that will be consisting of high converting leads, and thus you have reached your goal and your website is successful. So it's all working as one. And finally, we aren't going to go over these together today, but while we're on the subject of high quality content for your website, I wanted to also just leave you with a resource that can help you understand how to repurpose your content in multiple different ways. This is also another little secret of how you can lower the cost of your marketing overall, because if you're an attorney with a tight marketing budget, one of the most helpful things that you can do for yourself is take one piece of high quality content and figure out how you can use it and reuse it as many times as possible. So this blog is going to really just outline how you can go about that. So I'm posting that in the chat for you all there. Awesome. Okay, so your firm's website, as we've mentioned, is the foundation of your digital marketing strategy, and a high quality and modern website is just that first step to targeting your local ideal client more efficiently and affordably. And it's going to be what's going to anchor your marketing efforts and strive and help you, or as you strive toward growing your business. And now you can get an instant firsthand look at what your new website could look like with us. On the left side of our screen here, we have our new website design tool. This is so you can browse various layouts, you can customize the site to your firm's branding and colors, you can add your logo on there, you can toggle through different image options. Overall, it's just a way to play around with our different website options so that you can get a very clear visual of what your website could look like with us. So if you want to just play around in this tool, I'm going to link that direct link to it. It's really fun to just kind of poke around and see what your options are. But for these last few minutes, I'd like to take you on a quick tour of some of the features of our tech that I think attorneys benefit the most from. So I just want to show you a little bit of the behind the scenes here. And where we are right now is our dashboard. So this is kind of the landing spot for if you have a website with us, this is where you're going to go to make any sort of edits or changes to your website. It actually just got a little bit of a facelift in these past couple of weeks. We've added a new shortcut to the SEO snapshot, but then there's also other various shortcuts such as the quick link to the content library, making a new blog, new case result, adding a new page, but then also checking out what's new with our blog, as well as other shortcuts. So if you have a website with us, you're just going to go under sites. They're all going to be listed under here. Maybe if you had multiple websites, they would all be here in one place for you. But you go in under whichever website you are looking to edit at that time, and then right away you're brought into a back-end view of your website. On the left is basically just every page that's on your website. It is a vertical view of what is essentially the horizontal navigation bar that's on the front end of your website. And then on the right is going to be the content that is for that page. So for example, our About the Firm page. It's the title of the page, the navigation title, but then this is all of the content that will be on that page. I can add things like images and video, click to call phone numbers, different widgets, hyperlinks, bookmarks, all sorts of things. It's really easy to edit to your liking. If you're familiar with any sort of word processor, then you are familiar with this technology. But just to also show you what this looks like on the front end. So you can see everything that's on the left here is what's going to be on the front end of our website as our navigation bar. And one thing that we really love about this is that there's no coding that is involved with editing this and customizing this. So for example, if I wanted estate planning to appear above my About the Firm on the front end of my website, I just click it and drag it. And then once I go back into my website, it's going to be updated for me right away. So there's no downtime, there's no waiting for any sort of developer to make that change for you. If you're wanting to make the change, you can do it right away. But the first thing I will show you all is creating a new form. So we talked a bit about how you need optimized contact forms on your website in order to be most effective at that lowest cost. So in order to do that, we are going to go into libraries and then forms. And so an example of what a contact form on the front end of a website might look like, there is one right here on the side of our page. There might be one on the home page or in the footer, wherever you'd like, but to create one with Analytics, it's really easy to do so. All you need to do is select new, and you're going to give it a title, a bit of intro text, and then a response message. And then right here is where you're going to customize all your form fields. So maybe you want an extremely detailed contact form to get a lot of information from your potential client on the front end, or maybe you just want to make it very brief and just ask them for their name and phone number so that you can get back to them. Whatever you are intending to do with the contact form, it's really easy to just make the changes, drag and drop it around, choose what type of field you'd like it to be, and then you are almost ready to go. The next step that I really love about creating these forms is that you can assign a recipient. So if you had someone in your office that directly handles intakes, you can make sure that they are getting this submission directly and they're being notified so that they can get right on it. But then you can also connect it with your case management system so that everything is staying organized and everything is staying under that one umbrella. So that's just a little bit about creating forms. The next thing I will show you is how to publish a page of content using our content library. So I brought us back to the back end, and all I'm going to do is select create new page and then use a content template. And then I'm brought into our content library. And if this is your first time seeing the content library, this is a full, robust library of over 300 practice area topics across 20 practice areas that have been professionally written for you and optimized for search engine performance so that you can go in, make some customizations or additions, and then it's ready to publish on your website, and it's going to help you grow your visibility on Google. So for example, if I was a business lawyer, I would go into business law. I would browse through some practice area topics, and then once I'm happy with a topic, I can click into it, and then right away I can see the preview of the content. So on the left here, for the content preview, this is outlining all of the ways that this piece of content has been optimized for search. So for example, there's multiple link opportunities, I have optimized subtitles, it's a top 5 business law page, and then it also gives me organic traffic opportunities. And then on the right, I have the preview of my content, and then everything that's in blue is what I'm going to be customizing very quickly in the next step. And then it'll be ready to publish on my website as is, or I can make additional customizations and make this kind of more unique to my practice and then post it on my website. So if I'm happy with this template, all I do is press use. And one thing that's really nice about the library is that there are, you can save your entries from a past customization so that this saves you time. So saying that there's nothing really new that you need to add about this, your phone number is always going to be your phone number, your location's going to stay the same, things like that. So you save your entries, and then that saves you time on the next time that you customize. So as you can see, everything that we customized on the left was updated in blue on the right. One new thing that we've added is we have automatically added click-to-call phone numbers into our content library content. So what this helps with is for anyone that is accessing your website on their mobile device, it's super important to have click-to-call phone numbers in your written content and all throughout your website, because it just cuts the middleman and makes it really easy for them to click that phone number and call you. So that's really helpful to have. And then once you're happy with it, to complete the customization, you're brought back into this word processor. And all you need to do is make any sort of edit that you want to make, choose a parent page for this, to nest under on your navigation menu. And then again, you're going to add any sort of image or video widget, click to call phone numbers, your map, anything that you want to add. Super easy to do so and customize. And then when you're finished, you can save it for later, or you can publish it as is. And just to show you what a piece of content could look like on the front end, this is an example of an FAQ page. So what we've done for this piece of content is we've added these anchor links. So what an anchor link does is for an extra long piece of content, the visitor can just come on the page, they can kind of see what they want to look at exactly, and then click to that, and it'll drop down on the page for them, so it makes it extra easy to get to where they need to go. So that's just a little bit about the content library. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to answer them. And that is just a little bit about our technology and a little bit of the behind the scenes for today. But of course, if you have any questions about having a successful website with Analytics, or a question about anything that you saw today, or if you'd like to see a more in-depth demo of the technology, please feel free to reach out to us using any of the methods that you see here. And I might have had a question. Oh, never mind. I thought I did, but I do not. So that is the end of our presentation today. If you do have a question, please go ahead and drop it in our chat and I will answer that for you. But if not, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time.